We're in Parshas YISRO, and in Parshas YISRO, the Alter Rebbe takes a particular pasuk in our parsha in terms of the shofar, and the shofar at Har Sinai, and to explain it, he explains a very basic, innate aspect of our behavior, and that's called rotzoi and shov, that we oscillate between being drawn towards something, wanting to connect with something, our primary motivation of achieving oneness, whether it's with each other, that's called love, or with knowledge, which means knowing, but yearning and wanting to expand that experience of connection. But then we have to return to the exigencies of everyday life and deal with everyday life where that yearning has no place, and we return to the duties that we have. This process is described initially vis-a-vis God. In other words, we want to achieve states of oneness with Hashem. We run towards, our heart yearns for it, and then we recognize that getting closer and closer to Hashem doesn't ultimately allow us the touching of the essence of God. All we're touching is the glow, the expression, the ray, but not it itself. So the magnet of the essence of God remains. But then what happens is Hashem's instructions. You're born, you're a human being, you have to operate in a finite physical world. There's a purpose to your reincarnation. There's a reason why you've been brought back into the world. And that purpose has to be carried out. So we return, shove, to the cold face of life. We've discussed this in a number of different ways previously. But this oscillating process is the result of Hashem creating a peace between these two tendencies. One tendency is the heart's tendency of reaching out and connecting. The other one is the mind's tendency of telling us, well, you can't ultimately touch the essence and you have to return to a state of your responsibilities. This is referred to as fire and water. Fire of the heart and the water of the mind. The fire rises, yearns, seeks. The water cools the ardor of the fire and returns us to a state of intellectual recognition of who we are. But we have to practice who we are in a state of ego abnegation, complete humility, responsible to the task, like Abraham Avinu. Abraham's the epitome of that. So this oscillation takes place constantly in all things of life. And this is what the Alter Rebbe explains in this particular section of a Maimer on this phenomenon. And once we understand this phenomenon, we can begin to understand better who we are, why there are phases in our life. What does it mean, Oisa Shalom Bimromav, Says Shalom Bimromav, Hashem makes peace in the higher realms, peace between the Prince of Fire and the Prince of Water. The Prince of Fire, Gabriel, which is the water element of being cooling the ardor, and then the Prince of Chesed, which is the flow of seeking connection and oneness, expressing love for everything in the world, etc. So these are the notions that we discussed in the early part of the Maimer. Why don't we have a little meditation where we can internalize it and make it an inner recognition? So gently close your eyes and just become aware of your breath, gently breathing in and breathing out. And the breath in and the breath out also are a reflection of Ratzoi and Shov. Ratzoi, seeking to connect, the breath out, and then Shov, returning to our responsibilities of life, the breath in. And we have within our breath that notion of Ratzoi and Shov. So think of somebody, bring to mind somebody whom you love dearly. A spouse, a child, a friend, and how you sometimes think about them, and it arouses a yearning of being close, of being at one, the flow of the heart, reaching out, trying to touch the essence of somebody. And still, you spend a lifetime getting to know them more and more. So touching their essence keeps eluding you. You keep touching something deeper within them, connecting. And yet, it continues in a lifetime, connecting more profoundly, more profoundly. And then you realize, although you like to spend a lifetime just being at one with your loved one, you must return to carry out your responsibilities in life. That which you were reincarnated for, self-expression, being able to make your contribution to the world at large and even to those around you. That's shave, returning, but doing so with a complete sense of humility. And just think about that. This toing and froing, this oscillation that continues for a lifetime, spiraling to a higher and higher level of the same process. Hashem making peace between these two processes, giving each one its moment, sometimes yearning, rotze, sometimes returning, showing. Aseh shalom b'mromai. Hashem makes peace in the higher realms, which is the higher realms that you and I are an image of. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Ratzo and Shov. Toing and froing. Oscillation. Itself. And spend time just considering it until you're ready to open your eyes.